Hello nieces, hello nephews, it's your Uncle Charles here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we do unbiased price action analysis. Holy moly donut shop, look what we have here. SPY as we speak is around 445.7. Holy moly of the moliest donut shops. What is causing all this commotion? NVDA. The most amazing stock, at least for the last 2 to 3 months, the most amazing tradable stock ever. The most amazing tradable stock ever. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is definitely not for the faint of heart. But yeah. Apparently, the market likes what they saw with the earnings. You guys definitely do your due diligence on earnings. And it's reflecting with the price action right now. NVDA, it's well above 500 and it's causing QQQ to pop. It's causing the SPY to pop. But here's the thing. What do I always say on this channel? I say that price action is the true shepherd. And on our last video, the last video that I made, if you guys recalled, I talked about the white trend line that started from February 2nd high, connects to June 5th high, connects to June 26th low. And I mentioned how it was recaptured. The recapture level was at 437, which was also in line with a fib level of ours. And I mentioned as long as above, we were in relief rally mode, meaning more upside. Not to be full on bullish just yet. We had more levels that needed to clear, but at the very least, relief rally mode. And at the end of the day today, SPY managed to get as high as 443.6 before NVDA reported its earnings. Okay? And then that brings us, and now that brings us to the next critical level, which is around 444. That blue line right there, 444, which was June high. We had a false breakout setup of this level in mid-August, August 15th. Led to a very nice down move down to 433, where we bounced, recaptured 437, and we look to back test that level as a resistant. Okay? However, we're above it now. As you guys can see, we're above it now. So what does this mean? Uncle Chartis, Mr. Price Action Guy. Well, what this means for now, we'll see if follow through will be shown tomorrow. But what this means for now is that if SPY is above 444, this cancels the false breakout. False breakouts are bearish. So if it's canceled, that's bullish. Now, I also have my green trend line here from March 13th low. Okay, as you guys can see, from March 13th low, connect here at May 24th. To recapture that, it's also around 445.5. All right, so bulls have a little bit more work to do. But above 444 would be a recapture of the blue trend line, or a horizontal line, and a breakout of this yellow wedge to the upside. That's bullish. Okay, so above 444, bullish. Above 445.5, bullish. And it's very likely that a bottom is in. That this low over here at 433 is the higher low. That August, according to seasonality, because remember we talked about seasonality on this channel. I mentioned mid to late August, a bottom should be found. According to seasonality, it was supposed to be a double bottom, but it's an average thing. It doesn't always have to happen exactly like seasonality, but there was a tendency that a bottom would be found. Some type of bottom. And so far, guys, it's tracking. Okay? So like I said, for that August seasonality to play out bullishly, 444 and 445.5 levels must hold that support. Remember the equilibrium level concept. So as long as above these levels, guys, we are bullish. 447, 449, 450.6, 451.7, 453. There's a gap fill at 456.2-ish. They will all be in play with 458 and 459.4 above. Please understand what I'm saying. We're using if statements. If something happens a certain way, that's how we react. We use the price action. If we're above 444 and 445.5, stay bullish, okay? Now, if we are back below it, it's possible that this was just a little bull trap or something like that, okay? Follow through. Well, first of all, it needs to be below 444, but follow through would also be a breakdown of 442. All right? Stay below 444, break down 442. That's your trigger for shorts. Of course, you can short the breakdown of 445.5 or 444 if it happens. But a below 442 would definitely be a lot more bearish with this fib level. And then I will favor more downside back down to 440 and 437. Below 437 would be a breakdown of the white trend line. Okay, that would be pretty bearish. As of right now, that false breakdown setup of that white trend line of mine, the 437 level, is still intact and is playing out well right now. For whatever reason, NVDA earnings, whatever. The price actually says it's bullish right now. As long as above 444 and 445.5. Is my plan understandable? Is it clear, guys? I really hope so, because I really want us to be successful. Okay? QQQ once again back tested this blue trend line of mine, which was around 369.5. But look at that going up in the after hour. Currently around my 373 level. Okay, that's one of my resistance level. If it's above 373 tomorrow, guys, 375.6 is in play. That's a big critical level. Fib level from all-time high down to October 2022 low. 375.6 is the 78.6 fib level, guys. Remember, that's the level that bulls really need to recapture if they want a new 52-week high in the year 2023. And they're getting very close to retesting it as a resistance. Bears need to step up at that level if 373 clears tomorrow. All right? Now, if they don't test it and 373 failed as support, 371 and 369.5 are back in play. That will be very bearish if they fail, especially 367. And that will put 365.2, 363.4, 361, and 357.5 back in play with 356 below that. Was that clear, guys? Please add these levels to your charts so you can see them visually. All right? And you'll know when we get the breakdown, the false breakdowns, and all that happy stuff. Here is Dow Jones. It's just been basing, chopping sideways. All right? We do have an inside daily candle right here, but then today it's still within the mother candle, so no big breakout just yet. But here's the setup. We want to keep it as simple as possible. Bearish setup. 344 is support, but the big level that needs to fail is 342.5. If that does, very bearish. You want to look to short, want to be bearish with 339, 337.7, and 336 in play, all right? Right now, resistant is at 345.7 and 346.5. If those levels clear, look to long. All right, 349, 351, and 353 would be in play. IWM, look at this, guys. We got a potential false breakdown set up with it recapturing my green trend line. If IWM can stay above 186 tomorrow, this recapture stays intact. Follow through would be a breakout of 187.2 and 189.2. If those levels clear, it would be a breakout of this yellow trend line. Very bullish with 191.4, 193, and 195 in play, okay? I would be bearish on IWM again. If 186 fails to hold, that's first thing. And 184.5 fail as support to put lower targets in play. 183.5, 182.2, and 180.5 would be downside targets. Tesla, so far, I had a big critical level at 240.7, all right? This is from a pivot low from June 26th. Recently, on Tuesday, it backtested as a resistance and it found selling pressure, trying to give us signs that it was heading back down. It kind of did the next day, but it just backtested my trend lines here, bounced, and it just closed just above 240.7, but as of right now, it's gapping above it. So as for tomorrow, guys, as long as above 240.7, the sentiment is bullish with more upside in play. All right, I do have resistant at 244, 246, 248, 250. What's this pivot high right here? 251.8 and 253. Okay, if you want to get bearish, it needs to be below 240.7. That's first thing. Break down more support. 238, 236, 234.5, and 232-ish. All right. Apple, please add those levels to your charts. Apple, I have new fib levels on Apple. Started it from the January 2023 low to the July high. Apple just recently recaptured a critical level, a critical fib level at the 23.6 fib level. And that level is at 180.75, okay? As for tomorrow, 180.75 must hold as support. For follow through, I have resistance at 182, 185, and 188. If those levels clear, based on my fib levels here, if those levels clear, I'll be bullish. Okay, follow through be above 182. Look to long. Okay, now if we want to be bearish below 180.75, that'll be a false breakout. That'll be bearish. Follow through will be a breakdown of 178. If that does, look to short. But just reacting. Bull case, bear case. Okay, below 178, I got 174 and 172 and 170 back in play. NVDA, the monster stock that we need to talk about. Holy moly donut shop. This is where all the fuss is. In my Discord, I cover NVDA a lot. And I really do my best to try to keep us on the right side of the trade. You know, and I wrote here the plan for the day. As of now, I am overall bearish below 460. If below 460, next support is 457.5, 455.5, 454, 452.5, and then 451. I wrote it there. That's the bear case scenario. But guess what? I also write the bull case scenario. And I wrote if above 460, I was bullish with next resistance at 462. And at 462 clear, we have higher targets, 464 all the way up to 472. All right? Remember the equilibrium level was 460, which I alerted to the group. Overall, intraday, we had, when it was below 460, it dropped as low as 451-ish, 452-ish. Not a bad trade to the downside if you day traded it. But then it bounced, and at the end of the day, it managed to recapture some level. False breakdown setup intraday, got up to 472. I'm not even talking about earnings because I don't trade earnings. Beautiful trade setups. This stock is not for the faint of hearts. If you suck at risk management, NVDA is not the stock for you because it's so volatile. This thing can make or break retail traders' lives, trading careers, man. It's not the time to play around. Especially during earnings. Okay? If anybody looking at this move up, you think and you might, feeling FOMO-ish, please be careful and please don't be FOMO. There will be lots of trading opportunities. You didn't need to trade earnings and take the risk, because if you were to trade earnings, what if you was wrong? You can't cut your loss right now. You have to wait till tomorrow morning. And if you were right, great, but you came right for the wrong reason. You made money because of gambling. That's not skills, that's gambling. And then at the same time, a lot can happen from now until tomorrow morning. You never know what's going to happen. You just never know. It's too risky. It's gambling. I don't promote gambling. I promote trading and being responsible and having risk management and having a trading system and respecting that trading system. Okay? So with that being said, let's talk about the trading plan. All right, you guys see the bounce. I have fib levels, okay? You guys, if you feel like wanted to copy me, I have fib level from July 14th high. This is a 4-hour chart. From July 14th high down to August 14th low, okay? If you add those fib levels, you should have the same levels as me. And you can see right now, it's got very close to that 1.5 Fibonacci level. It's at 519.77. I just rounded to 520. I have a habit of rounding stuff to the nearest whole number. You guys also see I have this green trend line. I had it lower earlier, but I readjusted it because I believe in this more. And I have it from May 30th high to July 14th high. All right, it's only 2 touches, so we'll watch it. I mean, with this bounce up, I'm watching to see if it's possible we get a third touch, and the third touch would be around the 537 to 542 range. Okay, 542 is 178.6 fib level as well. All right, so yes, that's just something I'm watching. That's the trend line that I have, and those are the fib levels I have. Okay, so I'll list them out for you. The 1.5 fib level is at 519.77. You know, keep in mind we're flirting with new all-time highs here. Okay, so these fib levels and this green trend line is all I got right now. As far as levels that I personally trust. Okay, so above 520, the next critical level will be about 528.94. So we'll give it a zone 528.5 to 529. And then, of course, above that is 542. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, whoa, those are some big ranges. Well, look what, keep in mind, we're dealing with NVDA here. This is why you don't need to gamble with earnings, because this stock will give you $5, $10, $30 moves intraday on a random day. That's why you don't have to gamble with earnings, because so much opportunities. So we're planning for the future right now. We're planning for tomorrow. Above 520, look to long. Don't argue with the price action. But it's too high, uncle. It's too high. Don't argue with the price action, man. Remember what happened in last earnings. Look at that. Last earnings, it popped 100 something dollars, and it still went up. Don't argue with the price action. Cheaper can get cheaper, expensive can get more expensive. Everybody know that. So if 520 clears tomorrow, that's bullish. All right, I would probably take, I have the next level 528.5 to 529, but you can, you could take profits, scale out of something every $2 or something. Manage your risk, whatever you call every $2, $1.50. The delta is measured by the dollar. Catch a couple of deltas, scale out, leave runners, But as far as being bearish, I have support. I have support at 510.5. 510.5 break down. The next critical support is at 499, and then below that is at 483 and 480.8. All right, guys, and if we drop below 480.8, we could, definitely get a lot more downside down to 472-ish and lower levels. There's so many darn levels, my brain's starting not to work. But as of right now, add those levels to your charts. I told you how to get these fib levels. Feel free to do the same so we be on the same page for tomorrow, okay? Microsoft, I have fib levels from July 11th low to July 18th high. Last Friday, we bounced perfectly off the 1.382 fib level. Bounce. And now we're testing that 327 level where I had, the first pivot low of these fib levels at. So, above 327 is bullish, okay? And right now we're gapped above that. So just keep that in mind. Since we're bullish above 327, we want to watch the next resistance level, which is at 332.6 right now. So the next resistance level I have, the next resistance I have is at 333. 333, recent pivot low, 335.5, that's a fib level. And above 335.5 would be bullish in my opinion, with 338.7, 340, and 342-ish back in play, okay? Now, to be bearish, it's got to get back below 327. It's got to gap back below or sell off or something. But 330 is first support, but 327 is the critical support that bears need Microsoft to break back down, the trigger more downside, down to 325, 323.5, possibly down to 321.5-ish and 320. Okay, Amazon. End of day, it recaptured the 135 level. I mentioned to the group, I mentioned to everybody, above 135 we're bullish, below 135 we're bearish. Price action revealed to us that it wanted above 135 when it closed above, okay? So from here, as long as above 135, we're going to stay bullish. 136.6, 137.7 are levels to watch. It's above 136.6, so watch for a breakout of 137.7 and, of course, 139. If that happens, 140.6, 142, and 146, 140.6, 142, 143, and 145 would be in play, okay? As far as being bearish, it just needs to get back below 136.6 and 135. Below 135, my sentiment will switch back to bearish. And I would favor more downside down to 133, 135.5, and 130. Google. I mentioned if we recapture 129.5, that's bullish. Tuesday, it did just that. Today, follow through, breakout of the bull flag. Now, as long as above 132.8, that's the immediate critical support. That's bullish. 134.8 is the next resistance. If that clears, 136.4 and 138 in play. Okay, if you want to get bearish, it needs to break back below 132.8 and 131. That's the bull flag. Break below 131, 129.5 and 129.6 would be back in play. Overall, I would be bearish below 131 and 129.5. But as of right now, that is not the case. Stay bullish above 132.8. Meta. Well, it's at 300 now. To recapture this blue trend line that it recently broke out, it needs to get back above 303. And it's also happened to be this white trend line. Above 303, a bottom is in. If we reject from here, watch breakdown of support. 298, 296, 294. Below 294, I would favor a drop down to 286. But of course, 292, 290, and 288 in play first, because we want to play it level to level. Netflix. Trying to make some type of head and shoulder pattern here. Rejected hard from the 1.618 fib level. As you guys can see, from my 1.618 fib level was at 437.5-ish. Barely closed above that 426.5-ish level, I tell you. For bearish follow through, and I mean follow through from that selling pressure at resistance, it needs to break down 426.5. If it does, look to short below 426.5, and I will favor more downside. 423.5, 420, 418.3, and gap fill around 415-ish. To be bullish, it needs to recapture 432 and clear 437.5. And only then would I be bullish and favor more upside up to 443.5, 445, and maybe back up to the 450 zone. AMD. Look at that. Up and down and round we go with AMD. I had a trade idea long above 107. It worked out beautifully with 109 and 110.3 as a target. Didn't quite hit 110.3, but it got to 110.8 cents. Market makers want to be jerks. But however, look where it's at now, 113.4. Holy moly. We support's at 112.8 and 110.3. As long as above, we could get more upside up to 116. If 116 clear, that's a break on my yellow trend line. That's when I will be bull bias with 118.6 and possibly back up to 122 in play, all right? If we want to get bearish, breakdown of support must happen. 112.8, 110.3, if they break down, could be bearish, but definitely would be bearish below 109 and 107, all right? PLTR, I mentioned if 15 is recaptured, that's bullish. 15 recaptured. That's based on my white trend line. Right now it's around 16. As long as above 15, 17 is in play. Possibly rejection there. Could be trying to build a head and shoulder. This could be the right shoulder forming. But if 17 clears, guess what? Head and shoulders canceled. 18.2, 19.3, and 21 would be in play. For me to be bearish, it got to drop back below 15 to put 13, 11.5, and 10 back in play. Okay, look at the dark pool order. 438 was the level. It was a dark pool level. It had $2 billion in premium at that level. Institutions were pouring in money. 1.1 billion at 442.9. 1.2 billion at 442.9. $781 million at 443. Liquidity was being provided. But those are the dark pool levels. Let's see. SPY filtered for 500K premiums or above. Bearish. Uh-oh. Triple Q, bearish. Dow Jones, nothing. IWM, bearish. Holy moly, all bearish. Tesla, bullish. Apple, bearish. NVDA, bullish. Microsoft, bullish. Amazon, nothing for Amazon. Google, overall bullish. Google with the L, overall bullish. Meta, overall bullish. Netflix, bullish. AMD is bullish. PLTR, Palantir, is also bullish. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. It took a great deal of effort to make this video today for some reason, but thank you guys for being here and watching. If you could, please hit the like button. If you didn't, please subscribe. Thank you guys. Peace.